And here we've got cottage cheese. Looks like the cottage cheese stage. If you don't stir it, it looks like a clear liquid on the top. And what's below looks like cottage cheese. So I'll just leave this a little longer until it goes into the what they call the mashed potato stage. Now to hurry this along, we can get out the good old stainless steel blender. Okay, I think I've got the lens all unsteamed, and I've been mixing with the stick blender for another 5 minutes or so, and now it's starting to change consistency again. It's coming into the mashed potato-y type stage. There's very, very little separation happening. It's getting more and more homogeneous and kind of, oh, steaming up again. Can't get too close, sorry. But it's getting a little thicker. It's going to continue to get thicker over the next 5 minutes or so. So I'll click off and click it back on again when that stage comes. And here we're at, it's not really mashed potatoes this looks like. It looks more like whipped potatoes. And just before this, it looks like maybe your turkey gravy that you made too thick. But this is getting really thick now. I stir it and it's shiny, and when I stop, it goes immediately more matte, flat, not as shiny. This means that the soap is almost done when it's this thick. I would give this another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to see if it zaps me. Okay, now this soap is done. Completely done. I've tasted it, and I've got no zaps. It's actually quite thick. Where's my spoon? Steaming up again. I'm getting too close. It's very thick. I don't get zapped. You can cook it as long as you want from now on. It just depends on how much water you want to cook out of it. Normally, all of the water would evaporate during the cure time, which would have been 6 weeks for a cold process soap. So the object now is to cook as much water out of it as makes it as you possibly can, because you can use the soap right away within at least a day or so, even though it is better if you cure it a day or two afterwards. But getting as much water out without it getting crumbly, so you can actually put it in a mold, is the idea. And this hasn't taken very long at all, and I even put extra water in it. This soap isn't white, incidentally, because I put some lavender tea in it, in my water, and I also put in some lavender emulsion, so it changed the color a little bit. So ordinarily this would be really snow white soap. And I'm going to take some of this out and color it so I can swirl it together. If you look at my spoon, you can see it's drying in the spoon pretty quick, and that is soap. It'll get really hard. You can actually use that as soap. Okay, now I've taken some of the soap out. There's still quite a bit in there, but taken quite a bit of it out. And what I've done is I've soaked rattan jot in some olive oil. I'll just pour some of that in. I'm not using any chemical colorants of any kind. Beautiful red color. Believe it or not, once it starts, look at it, it's turning blue. Lavender. That's exactly what I want. little chemical reaction of the rat and jot changing color. Great, and I'm going to swirl this all through the soap. So we'll have a beautiful, well, hopefully beautiful, lavender swirl all through my soap. Swirling's a little different to do with hot process soap, double boiler method. There's a particular way to do this. You actually put the colored soap in the main batch and mix it in, then you pour it into the mold, the whole thing. So it's mixed before it gets into the mold. As with cold process, you might do it a little bit different than that, but I find this creates a really nice swirl. And this is about the color that I want, actually, so I'm not going to add any more than that. One advantage of using this kind of coloring it this way with olive oil, you can use any other kind of oil too. It adds a little bit of super fatting to your soaps, which is always beneficial for a nice mild soap, really kind to the skin. Okay, now I've put the colored soap back in, and now comes the swirling. You take it from the center, you go down through the middle, up the back, just like you're folding a pastry. If I can get this without the lens steaming up, that would be just marvy. But you can see this is getting swirled from the center to the edge. You can see it's starting to get nicely swirled in there. And once I go around a few more times, then I'll pour it into the mold. Done. Put it to bed.